Guys, sometimes it's hard to find the exact topic I want to focus on. So when I do that, I jump on the forums and see what questions everybody's asking. So I went to the White Belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu group on Facebook, the Blue Belt Mafia Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu group on Facebook, and the MMA Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu group on Facebook. My name is Bill Jones, head instructor of top-level martial arts in beautiful downtown Cuyahoga Falls. I'm a black belt under Master Pedro Sauer, and you're watching Professor's Corner. Guys, I'm going to be covering a nice defense that I use against the Marcellotine at the end of this, so definitely keep watching to the end. It's relatively easy to do. Maybe looks a little intimidating, but it's not that athletic. So anyway, I went and checked out some basic questions that people were asking, things that I thought would be somewhat easy to answer, less long-winded. And I wanted to just kind of give you my thoughts on each of these things. Of course, I want to hear your thoughts too. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. The gi giveaway is always going on. I need to draw a winner for the month of January. But that gi giveaway is always going on for a Deferma Kimono Company gi. Do me a favor, share the video. Let people know about Professor's Corner if you like it, and see if we can get some more subscribers on here. All right, guys, so the first question someone was asking in one of the groups is, where should I get my gear? They were asking about, should I go to Amazon? Should I buy it direct from the factory, like straight through Origin? Should I go to my school or my academy and get it? And I think, obviously, I'm a little biased here, but I really think you should always try to get your gear through your academy. And there's a couple reasons for that. And it depends what you're looking for as well, right? Like if you're looking for a cup, maybe your academy doesn't carry cups. If it's something they just literally don't carry, then, you got to get it where you can. But for the most part, academies are going to be able to get gear, good gear, cheaper than what you are. Most of the time, they're going to have wholesale accounts with different companies and be able to get things. And just because they don't have it on display doesn't mean they can't get it. So my recommendation is, if you find something that you want, let's say you're out there on Hayabusa's website and you see a Hayabusa gi you want, send the link to that to your instructor or to the academy owner or whoever handles that for you and say, hey, this is a gi I'm looking at getting. Do you guys have a wholesale account with them? And if so, what can you get it for? That way your academy gets some of that money as well. Because remember, that's someone that you know, like, and trust. Why wouldn't you want to support them as opposed to just some random company out there? And then, of course, Amazon. It depends on what you want to get. Amazon, you can probably get a gi as cheap as $30, but you're going to get a $30 gi. So keep that in mind. A $30 gi is going to feel like sandpaper, and it's going to last like sandpaper. So I don't recommend that. But, if that's what your budget is, then you got to live within your budget. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. And I know that the gis, especially, Jiu-Jitsu, we're the prima donnas of martial arts, man. We got all these different companies to get stuff through, and it's a little different than most places. All right, so that's my recommendation. Always try to go through your academy if possible. Always try to see if they offer what you're looking for, and maybe even just write them and say, oh, well, what do you offer? You don't offer this Hayabusa gi. What do you have? And see if they have like a list of things that they can get you or some suggestions. All right, the next common one, and this one I saw about like 7 different ways. It was written in a bunch of different ways, and I think it's one of the dumbest questions to ask on the internet, but here it goes. It goes, I have this injury, and they would say, I broke my arm, I stubbed my toe, my nose fell off in class, whatever. Should I train, or how long should I wait before training? All right, so as a medical professional, a trained medical professional in nuclear medicine technology, I'm going to tell you that you should consult with a physician. Consult with your physician to see what they say. If it is a minor injury, then just go when you feel like you can. If your knee is like exploded, talk to a doctor. Nobody has x-ray vision. Nobody has MRI vision. No one's going to know what's going on in your knee until you have that checked out and taken a look at. Also, if you have an injury in class, you should definitely report it to your instructors and everything, because for insurance purposes, most places are going to keep track of that. They're going to want to know what happened, how you were injured, that kind of thing. Because, if it comes back, like sometimes, let's say workers' comp, you're trying to, let's say you hurt your knee in class, and you got to take some time off work. Work's going to want to know what's going on with that. And then, they're going to say, well, you need to take a couple of days off. And, it's going to be this whole thing. And then all of a sudden it gets to insurance. And then that insurance, because it's not usually like you suing your instructor, it's usually your insurance company suing your instructor's insurance company. That just comes out on paper looking like you are suing your instructor. Let's be real clear about that. And so the more paperwork and information they have available for that, the more likely they are to protect themselves. So, it's just easier for them if they know what's going on and what has happened. With that said, getting back on track, I train with injuries all the time, but I'm not going to recommend you do. Like, I'm never going to say that to someone. I'm not going to say, hey, yeah, you broke your toe, you should train. I mean, would I? Sure, but you should get it checked out. You should definitely have a medical professional, specifically a doctor, tell you you're okay to train. So no one can tell you that on the internet. No one can tell you whether you're okay. All right. I have Tournament X coming up. Should I cut weight? The answer is no. Cutting weight is not healthy. It's not a good practice to be in. You should walk around at the weight that you're going to compete, unless we're talking about a difference of maybe 1 pound or 2 pounds. But if you're cutting 20 pounds, 15, 20 pounds every time you want to go compete, that's just not a healthy thing to do. Most of you out there are not making money to compete. And even professionals shouldn't be doing this. They do it, but it shouldn't. It's not what they should be done. If you read the rules for like the NCAA as far as weight cutting, there's very strict guidelines on how much they're allowed to cut and the ways they're allowed to cut it, because people have died cutting weight. Putting on like basically trash bags and running in them just to cut water weight. You're going to compete suboptimally, and it's just not worth your time. So if you're looking, should I cut 5, 6, 7, 8 pounds to compete at Tournament X? Unless you have months to do that, healthy weight loss would be 1 to 2 pounds per week. And the less weight you have to lose, the lower your body fat composition, the more unhealthy it becomes to do, and the slower that weight loss is going to need to happen. So unless you have that extra weight, it's probably not worth your time to cut. And you're just going to compete at a level that you don't feel as good at. So don't go cutting weight, especially for local tournaments and stuff like that. Learn to compete at the weight you're at. Most of you are training because you want to know that you can defend yourself. You want to have a fun sport. And that's just going to add an element of not fun to it that I don't think is sustainable in the long term. And moreover, if you get in a fight, and you have to actually use it in real life, then you're going to be at the weight that you're at. You're not going to have a chance to cut weight before that. So it's good that you just know how you do when you're at that weight. The last one for the day is going to be, how can I keep my kid excited for classes? So a lot of jiu-jitsu schools have kids classes now. Mine has a huge kids contingency. And kids are funny things. They'll come in for their first couple classes and they'll love it, and they'll be like, oh, yeah. And then, they'll be playing with their Shopkins or whatever, and you're trying to get them in the class and they don't want to stop. They give you a hard time getting to class, and it becomes a headache. So, how can you keep your kid excited for that kind of thing? It can be a challenge sometimes. But I want you to think about yourself. There's times that you're not excited to go. There's times that you're not excited to go exercise. There's times that you're feeling unmotivated. Your kid is no different. The difference is you're the adult, they're the child. You're the one who needs to tell them what's good for them, and they don't get to decide that. So that's number one, is if you made the commitment to take your kid to classes, then be an adult, teach your kid, hey, there's some things that we got to do. Sometimes we don't feel like doing them, and we do them anyway. Now, with that said, if your kid's coming home from class and still hates it, that's probably a problem. This is what I tell all the parents who are with my school. Like, usually what happens is you have a hard time getting your kid to stop playing or whatever to get them to class. But once they come to class, they have a good time in class, they leave happy, they're glad they came. If once the class is over, they're still not glad they came and they're still not happy, now you can start saying, well, maybe this isn't the thing for them. How can you keep them excited? I recommend just good praise, honest praise. And what I mean by that is, instead of saying, oh, you did so good, because maybe your kid didn't do good. Maybe they sucked. Maybe they got tapped 45 times, didn't hit one offensive move, did terrible, and they sucked. But what you can say are honest things. Hey, you know what? I really enjoy watching you do this. You know what? Class looked like it was really hard today, and I'm really glad that you committed to it and stayed with it anyway. Those are the kinds of things you can give. Remember, kids aren't stupid. They know if they're doing good or bad, or they know if they won or lost. they don't need you pandering to them. They need to know that you support them. And those are two very different things. Hey, I know class was tough today. I'm really proud of you for sticking with it. Trust me, you're going to get better over time. But sticking with things that are hard is really important in life. Like, that's something that they can say, okay, I was a tough class, but Dad's real proud of me that I did it, or Mom's real proud of me that I did it and stuck with it. All right, guys, next up is a defense to the Marcellotine, the high elbow guillotine. I will say that you do have to be careful in this defense that I'm going to use. You have to be grabbing on the outside of the leg. If you're not grabbing the outside of the leg, like I show in the video, there's a chance for the crucifix to come in there. There's also the chance that the person might spin out and attempt to take your back or come up in the mount. So be careful on those things. Other than that, have a great day, guys. Hope you enjoy.
And I'm going to say this is kind of an athletic maneuver. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that it's super mechanical or super technical, but it is a little bit athletic. He comes in here, boom, I'm holding this leg down. Now I'm going to come over and just sit on it. So I've got one hand holding his leg, the other one will pull on his elbow that's close to me, and you can hear my voice change when I do it. This is without it, this is with it. And then I just wait. And I'm like, okay, buddy. Yeah, and he's going to let go because it sucks. And I'll pass the guard. So now I've turned it into a counter. But being in that back bend, it's kind of, I can understand how that might be a little intimidating. But most of my weight's on him, so I just have to make sure to keep my hips up. If I let my hips drop, he'll be able to move. So I'm going to maintain this leg, take a little step over it, and then kind of just circle over to my back and look at the sky, pull his elbow. Boom, here. So I'm immediately holding this leg. Coming back, little back step, and just walking. If my hips go down, he comes up, yeah, and I'm going to be in mount. That's going to be bad. So my hips cannot go down. Right here. And I'm okay, Right in here, and I'll wait, and sometimes I'll wiggle a little bit, because that, little movements make a big difference, little wiggles. And then as I turn, I drive this away. I'm going to turn back toward his legs, drive this away, and I'm going to be very cognizant of where my head is. I don't want to turn right back into the choke, right? So I look up as I turn. And we're in a good spot. Okay? Does anybody need to see it again?
Is it the same motion